I'm Frances, one of the tutors for Generation Games, Age UK, Oxfordshire. We've done a variety of videos for you over the last few weeks, trying to keep you going during lockdown, but hopefully they'll keep you going for a lot longer as well. This is just a little short one about exercising your hands and your fingers. Often when you get older, they get stiff, you get a bit of arthritis, they just don't work quite so well, you lose strength. So these are just some basic exercises to run through, particularly in the winter when they're a bit stiffer as well. So first thing is, if they're stiff, just try and move them gently. Don't force them to go. You know, it might be that you just start ever so slightly and build it up. Same principle as when we're doing the big muscles, the arms and the legs. Build it up. Now try and curl them up. So now try and stretch them right out. Curl them down and stretch them up. Now I'm holding my hands up so you can see and the camera can see what's going on. But you can do it down on your hand, on your lap, or on the table, or wherever's comfortable. But fists and then stars, and really try and stretch it out. Fists and stars. You can do it with the thumb in. You can do it with the thumb out. Okay, and now try and stretch the fingers as far apart as you can. And back together. Stretch them as far apart as you can. And together. And then if you're of a certain age, you might remember the original Star Trek series when they did that one. So you can give that one a go just because it's a bit of fun. Okay. Right, pretend you play the piano. All fingers moving. And actually, if you did used to play a musical instrument, or you still do, please carry on with it. It's a wonderful way of stimulating your fingers, your arms, your breathing, particularly if you're on brass or woodwind. And it's good for the mind as well, particularly if you're challenging yourself with a new piece of music. Anyway, I've got an imaginary piano, that way I never play a wrong note. Okay, let's come back. Circle the thumbs. And then in the other direction. Now bring the thumb to the finger. And then the next one, the next one, and the next one. Work that through. And again, if they don't meet, don't worry about it. Just be aware of how good each hand is. And if, for instance, you've had a stroke or something like that, and one hand doesn't work as well as the other, you can do one hand at a time. Or you can even use one hand to help the other as a way of improving the range of movement. It won't help that hand get stronger, but it will help you get the range of movement, and then the strength can follow. So try that, and then try and slide your thumb along each finger, from the top to the bottom. Okay. Now we circle the thumbs, so now circle wrists. Again, you can go in both directions. If you want to give your brain a challenge, try and get them both going anti-clockwise. We're both going clockwise, and that's a lot harder. Because the instinct is to both go into the centre at the same time. So just play with silly games, really, just to get the movement there. Okay, now I'm going to turn slightly side on to the camera, because we want to get a sideways wrist movement. So I'm going to turn round and then wave from side to side. Now if you try and do it in front of you, it's very hard to do. But if you pretend you're in the Queen's carriage at Ascot, driving around the track, waving to everybody, you get a nice sideways movement there. So I'm going to do both sides at the same time. that's too much, you can do one hand and then the other. Okay. Now, if you've ever fractured your wrist, broken your wrist, you'll know that one of the hardest bits to get back is to get the movement at the wrist joint. So, you start with your hands together, up high, gradually bring them down, let your elbows go out, so that you're bending your wrists. And it might be you can only go that far, it might be that you start doing this and then this hand starts doing things. Just take it where you've got a little bit of stretch. You can do a little bit of discomfort, we don't want to do pain. So a little bit of discomfort, just pushing it through, and then release it off. And then do it again, pushing it through, and watch for the fingers starting to curl out, and try and push them back together. And gradually you can go lower and lower and lower. It may take several sessions before you start noticing a distant difference, but the more you practice it, the better it will be. Okay. Now, do it the other way as well. I broke this wrist about 12 years ago, and I got that direction beautifully, but I got stuck at about there on that one, and I had to work really hard to get it back to there. So to do this one, you're going to put the backs of your hands together, start with them low. It's the same principle going in the other direction. Lift up, let your elbows go wide, don't let the V gap in the middle. So you bring it up and keep pushing so that you've got that little bit of pressure there and you're asking for the stretch through there. And I hope you can see that even though I broke that wrist, the range I've got for both wrists is pretty similar. Took a lot of work, but it got there. And now no one would ever know I'd had a problem there. Okay. Now, if for whatever reason, if you've got one hand doesn't work so well as the other, or you can't control one hand with the other, the alternative is to use a table, particularly for the downwards one. So table, kitchen work surface, anything like that. I'm going to wriggle forwards a little bit. And I'm going to put the whole of my forearm on the table with my hand hanging over the end. And then I use the other hand to gently press down. Now, if I do that, it's not going to work. The elbow stays anchored and you gently push the hand through. Again, maybe to a little bit of discomfort if you're needing to improve range, but never into pain. And you can do it the other way. It's a little bit harder that way. You won't get the same amount of movement because if your elbow's bent, it affects how much the wrist can bend as well. Can you see my fingers want to curl and I have to work to keep them straight? So that one will feel tougher if you're using the table to do it, but nevertheless, it can be done. When you've finished all of those, just give it a good rub. And then it's probably time to go and make a cup of tea.